Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Reading's in-person and virtual Sunday worship service. My name is Charlene Reynolds-Santo. I'm a member of the worship arts team. I use she, her pronouns. We choose to share our pronouns because we know people of all genders are holy, whole, and loved. Whoever you are, wherever you are from, whoever you love, whatever your faith tradition, you are welcome here. All are welcome here as we gather to create an understanding, welcoming, and family-friendly community where we nurture and explore individual spirituality, work to build a committed and loving community, and to help heal the world. If this is your first time with us, I would like to extend a special welcome to you. Please visit our webpage at uureading.org for more information about UUCR. Here, you can learn more about this beloved community and connect with our staff. For those here in the sanctuary this morning, please come and speak to any of us involved in today's service in Fellowship Hall after the service if you have any questions. If you are watching the service online during its initial broadcast at 10 a.m. on February 18th, please join the Zoom conversation with Tom Model immediately after the service.
Thank you, Charles. Good morning. My name is Reverend Laura Solomon. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am the minister here at UUCR, and it is a privilege to serve this community and the world with you. Our opening words this morning come from Joanna Macy, a scholar of Buddhism, systems thinking, and deep ecology. She writes, "Active hope is not wishful thinking. Active hope is not waiting to be rescued by some savior. Active hope is waking up to the beauty of life on whose behalf we can act. We belong to this world. The web of life is calling us forth at this time. We've come a long way and are here to play a part. With active hope, we realize there are adventures in store, strengths to discover, and comrades to link arms with. Active hope is a readiness to discover the strengths in ourselves and in others, a readiness to discover the reasons for hope and the occasions for love, a readiness to discover the size and strength of our hearts, our quickness of mind, our steadiness of purpose, our own authority, our love for life, the liveliness of our curiosity, the unsuspected deep well of patience and diligence, the keenness of our senses, and our capacity to lead." Let us worship this morning. As we light our chalice with Unitarian Universalists all around the globe, I invite you to call into your heart the flame you kindle this morning, the flame of community, of truth, of hope, of commitment to love and justice. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. In the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, we gather this day. May the flame we now kindle be to us a symbol of the holiness we seek. Each week we recite our children's affirmation as a reminder of the most important elements of who we are. Jonah, will you come up and help me, please? Thank you so much. We are Unitarian, Universalists, the Church of the Open Mind, the Loving Heart, and the Helping Hands. Thank you, Jonah. Please rise in body or in spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 391 in your gray hymnal, Voice Still and Small.
Still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing in storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain, singing, calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing, voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing, in storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain, singing, calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
When I first considered doing a multi-generational service on hope and commitment, I had a lot of great ideas. I grew up with a copy of 50 Things Kids Can Do to Save the Earth on my bookshelf, after all, and I fully believed that if I turned the water off while I brushed my teeth and cut the six-pack rings off the soda so that the seals and the turtles would be saved, I would indeed be saving, not just helping, but saving the Earth. I don't want to brag, but around the same time that I was obsessed with that book, I also completed a Peacemakers program, and I got a certificate from Peaceful Panda himself. He said that I know how to be a peacemaker. So with my new peacemaking strategies, surely I was set to save, not just help, but definitely save humankind. Apparently, the mid-90s were a hopeful time for those of us who were pre-adolescents. Where I really feel called these days, though, is to the work of people like Joanna Macy and Parker Palmer. These present-day wise people have taught me about hope and commitment in ways that feel real and relevant, not in an I'm gonna save the world sort of way, but in a way that grounds and sustains me, in a way that feels honest and challenging. And I wonder about how we can give those gifts, the gifts of honesty and commitment and hope in 2024, to our children and to one another. So this service is an attempt at giving those gifts. I believe more than anything that our children need and deserve honesty. In fact, more than anything, we, each of us, need and deserve hope and honesty and commitment from one another, because that is how we sustain us. That is how we survive and thrive, whether we are talking about the climate crisis, the ongoing violence in the Middle East, the upcoming presidential election, or racism, homophobia, and transphobia in our own community. We sustain our hearts, souls, and minds through honesty, commitment, and engagement with one another. Joanna Macy, whose book Active Hope I absolutely recommend to you, outlines a process she calls the work that reconnects. She talks specifically about the climate crisis and how we navigate our climate grief. But her process can be applied to any work of justice and equity to which we are called. This work is designed to build resilience and empower wise responses to the crises of our time. She calls this work of hope and commitment the resilience spiral, and acknowledges that we are constantly spiraling through 4 steps: gratitude, honoring our pain for the world, seeing with fresh eyes, and going into the world with new perspective. We resource ourselves with gratitude, deepen our capacity to be with pain, enable ourselves to view the world with a fresh perspective, and go into the world seeing things differently. Her 4 steps are gratitude, honoring our pain for the world, seeing with fresh eyes, and going into the world with a new perspective. It is in the spirit of this work that we gather, experience, and learn together this morning.
Our first reading this morning, There Is No Easier Way, by Reverend Elizabeth Wynne. I once saw a little sign carved in wood that read, "There is only the hard way." That's the truth of that little sign. There is no easy way. There is only the hard way. In particular, the work of justice often asks us to do the impossible, hard, terrifying things. There is no easier way. Many of us want to do the right thing, the just thing, the generous thing. We want people to trust us, let us shape the vision, but not actually risk inviting folks out to tea, dinner, beers, or church to build a relationship that endures and carries us forward. We may want to post a cute meme without actually making the phone call to the city councilor or state representative. We want to be part of that powerful, courageous, game-changing, direct action without the long past midnight planning meetings, the messy decision-making, the frayed relationships, and the constant wondering, is this even worth it? We want to talk about being bound together in interdependence, but do not actually want to give our guest room to a stranger, give our paycheck to someone we've never met, or turn our schedule inside out to do what needs to be done. What matters more is that we are willing to live our lives in the shape of what is being asked, not hope that what we are being asked to do will fit in the shape of our lives.
I invite our kids forward for the first part of our Time for All Ages. Thank you for joining me, Kimberly. Come on up, bring your pillow, absolutely. It's good to see you guys. So just like a couple weeks ago, this service is multi-generational, and we have 3 Time for All Ages today. We are talking about hope and commitment and how we hold on even when things are hard.
Have you ever had a time where it's been hard to feel hopeful? When maybe you don't think something is going to work out, Or a time when you felt frustrated because something just wasn't going your way? Well, I have a little example to share. I used to feel really frustrated and nervous every time I had to drive on the highway. And then I got a job where the only way to get there was driving on the highway. But I wasn't going to let this keep me from committing to the job. So I drove on the highway every day, and it got easier as I practiced, and I wasn't so nervous anymore. I think we all feel this way in our personal lives pretty frequently, and we all get lots of practice trying and trying again, and committing and persevering.
Have you guys ever had a time where you've had to try really hard, or maybe you got frustrated because you had to keep trying? Yeah? Can you give us an example?
Charlie, do you have one? What is it?
I have an example.
Yeah, what happened?
So this week I was in dance class, and we were learning a new step, and I could not get it. I could not get it. I left dance class on Thursday, and I still don't have it. But I'm going to go back next week, and I'm going to try again.
Nice.
So, our church has had a situation recently that is requiring some commitment and perseverance. We've had a banner outside of our church for a couple years now that says Black Lives Matter. We have that banner because our faith tells us that it is important that our society is equal and fair for all people. But we know that many things still aren't equitable or fair for people of color, and for Black folks particularly. Last June, someone stole our banner. So we hung up another banner. But then in January, someone stole our banner again. So what do you think we did? Some of you were there. Yeah, what do you think we did? Lucian? Exactly. We went outside and we set up a new one and had a little ceremony. Exactly. So we still believe that our message about equality and fairness and that every person is important is necessary. But then guess what happened? It got stolen again.
So I'm curious, what do you all think that we should do? Jonah? Yeah, he said just set out another one, and if someone steals that, set out another one. Do you have an idea? Did you have your hand up? Put it in a higher place, which we did do. That was a good thought.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, Jonah? The top of the whole building.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. Awesome. Does anyone think we should just not say that we believe in equality and fairness anymore? No. We know what our values are, and we are committed to staying true to our values even when it's hard.
So we have already done a lot of things. We hung a flag up that was higher, just like Lucian said, over our door so that it's harder to take down. We had a conversation with Reading's Office of Equity and Social Justice to see what they recommend. And we have an event planned with other people who believe like we do so that we can say together that equality and fairness are important and that Black lives matter. Even though it might be uncomfortable or even frustrating to think about what to do next, we know that it's important to side with love, and we side with love to show our commitment to our values, even when it's hard. Thank you all for listening. You can return to your seats, and Josh has the perfect song for us following this sharing.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I'll stand my ground. Won't be turned around. keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Well, I know what's right. I got just one life in a world that keeps on pushing me around. Well, I'll stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
Thank you, Josh. We take time during our service to light our candles of community, peace, and justice. We light our red candle of community to signify our interconnection. Wherever you are, in time and space, newcomer or longtime member, here in the sanctuary or joining us virtually, we light this candle holding you in love. As we light this candle, I invite you to speak aloud the name or names of people who are on your mind and heart today, that we might call them fully into this space. We light our blue candle of peace for all the places worldwide where people live with the threat of war and violence. We pray for the 23 people physically harmed and countless more traumatized again by gun violence in Kansas City this week. And we pray for an end to the violence, a ceasefire in Gaza. In a press release from the Unitarian Universalist Association this week, it was written, "There are crystallizing moments in the course of history when, in spite of the differences that exist among us, our common reverence for life demands that we speak with moral courage and clarity on the side of love. As people of faith and conviction, Unitarian Universalists share a belief that every human life is sacred, endowed with worth and dignity from the moment of birth, with no person more deserving of freedom and flourishing than any other. Our living tradition has long maintained that the only hells that exist are those that we create for one another here on earth." In that spirit, the Unitarian Universalist Association condemns the Israeli military's ongoing violence against Gaza and joins with the growing chorus of voices across the globe urging immediate and total ceasefire, the provision of massive emergency humanitarian aid, and the safe return of all hostages and prisoners. With that, we light our yellow candle of justice. May all people everywhere live their lives in freedom. And may we each do our part in the work for justice and liberation for all in our global community. As we recommit ourselves to the work of love and justice, may we each voice this commitment by saying amen. For our meditation today, I'm going to read a quote from Joanna Macy. I invite you to allow these words to settle deeply in your heart and body. I will read them slowly, twice through, and then we will sit in a moment of silence together. We are called to not run from the discomfort, and not run from the grief or the feelings of outrage or even fear. If we can be with our pain, it turns. It doesn't stay static. It only doesn't change if we refuse to look at it. But when we look at it, when we take it in our hands, when we can be with it and keep breathing, then it turns. It turns to reveal its other face. And the other face of our pain for the world is our love for the world, our absolute inseparable connectedness with all life. We are called to not run from the discomfort and not run from the grief or the feelings of outrage or even fear. If we can be with our pain, it turns. It doesn't stay static. It only doesn't change if we refuse to look at it. But when we look at it, when we take it in our hands, when we can be with it and keep breathing, then it turns. It turns to reveal its other face. And the other face of our pain for the world is our love for the world. Our absolute, inseparable connectedness with all life. If you have a joy or a sorrow you would like to honor through lighting a silent candle, you are invited to come forward now.
Our second reading this morning is In the Ruins by Reverend Lynn Unger. A man sits on the rubble, not just in the rubble, but on the pile of what remains. No people in the bombed-out houses, no dogs, no birds, just ragged hunks of concrete and loss. And on his perch, he is playing an instrument constructed of what is left. An old olive oil can, a broom handle, a bowed stick and strings. It sounds exactly as it's supposed to sound. The instrument cries, but the man sings. Because sometimes loss is deeper than tears. Because sometimes loss and grief is resistance. Because somewhere down the very long road, music is stronger than bombs.
Our kids to come forward again. Welcome back, Jonah. Thanks, Maddie. So Parker Palmer is a Quaker author of many books, and I was lucky enough to attend a retreat that he ran several years ago. One of the most important things I remember him talking about was that we have to exercise our heart. Who knows what our heart does? It pumps blood throughout the body, exactly. But when we talk about our heart, a lot of times we're also talking about our feelings and our emotions. We can feel those things strongly in our hearts too. Like if we're super excited, we might say that our heart is bursting with happiness. Or if we're very sad, we might say that it feels like our hearts are breaking. Are there other emotions that you have felt in your heart? What do you think, Charlie? Happiness, absolutely. We feel happiness in our hearts. Pride is another emotion that we say that we feel in our hearts sometimes. So what happens when we exercise our muscles, like our arms or our legs? Lucian? It makes it so that we're healthy, yep. Our heart pumps faster, exactly. And when it pumps faster, it gets stronger. When we exercise our other muscles, we can also get more flexible so that we can stretch and move and do things more easily. So Parker Palmer says that the same thing is true of our hearts, that the more we let feelings in, the more we feel all of our feelings, both the joy and the sadness, the stronger and more flexible our hearts become. That way, when our hearts break, because our hearts will break, then our hearts break open instead of shattering. So let's see what that looks like. If we pretend that this is our heart, can you put your hands together in a heart? Put both of your hands together. Perfect. Then shattering looks like this. Now, we can't hold anything in our heart that way, can we? It's going to take a lot of work to put all of our heart back together. But if we let our heart break open, then we can hold things in our hearts. We can practice opening and closing our hearts. Our hearts can be strong and flexible and healthy, so they need to have the practice of breaking open and coming back together. So we're going to practice letting our hearts break open a little bit. We're going to put our hands on our hearts so we can feel how strong they are. still work for a better future. So I invite you to share something about the world that makes your heart break. Examples might include bullying, or homelessness, or war. After each person shares, we will affirm, our hearts break with yours. I'll start. My heart breaks because of global warming and the climate crisis. Our hearts break with yours. Jonah? Say it again. Absolutely. Our hearts break with yours. Mothers not getting prenatal care. Our hearts break with yours. Anyone in the pews can participate too. Homelessness. Our hearts break with yours. Cruelty to animals and other humans. Our hearts break with yours. Mass incarceration. Our hearts break with yours. Victims of the war in Gaza and Israel. Our hearts break with yours. Litter. Our hearts break with yours. Fear that shrinks people's minds. Our hearts break with yours. The death of Navatli. Our hearts break with yours. Relationships. Our hearts break with yours. Gun violence. Our hearts break with yours. Transphobia. Our hearts break with yours. Injustice. Our hearts break with yours. Cynicism. Our hearts break with yours. When we allow our hearts to be broken open into the largeness of life, we also increase our capacity to hold the world's joy. Let's share some of the things that are beautiful in the world, the things we are grateful for. After each person shares, we will affirm their sharing by saying, our hearts celebrate with yours. I'll start. I am grateful for this community. Our hearts celebrate with yours. Jonah. Grateful. Gratitude. Our hearts celebrate with yours.
I am grateful for grandchildren.
Grandchildren. Our hearts celebrate with yours. Friends and family. Our hearts celebrate with yours. Say it again. New life. Our hearts celebrate with yours. Pets. Our hearts celebrate with yours. One more. The growth of professional women's sports. Our hearts celebrate with yours. Thank you for exercising your heart with me. Up here, I have a heart. I invite you to take a heart with you. It's folded in half so that you can close it and open it and remember the importance of exercising your heart. For those of you in the pews, a basket will come around during the offering so that you can take this reminder home with you as well. You can come up and get your heart now. Thank you.
Each Sunday, UUCR gives away half of the money received in the collection plate to a nonprofit organization that shares our UU values. It's a simple yet powerful way for each of us to help heal the world by learning about and supporting the good works of charitable organizations and becoming involved in our community. Our Share the Plate recipient for the month of February is ARC of Massachusetts. The ARC advocates at both state and federal levels to support people of all ages with autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and other intellectual and developmental disabilities. Their goal is full integration into the community for all activities. Congregant member Amy Stewart says, as a parent of a child with an intellectual disability, ARC's advocacy for individuals with intellectual disabilities and autism is very important to us. Our congregation exists and thrives through the gifts of those who call this place their spiritual home. If you're here with us in the sanctuary, you may put your check or money in the plate as it goes by. Otherwise, you can make a gift online or mail in a check. Please give as generously as you are willing and able to our Share the Plate offering to support the ARC of Massachusetts and the mission of UUCR. Now, if this is your first time with us, your presence is gift in itself. Thank you.
I know this pain. Why do you lock yourself up in these chains? No one can change your life except for you. Don't ever let anyone step all over you. Just open your heart and your mind. Is it really fair to feel this way inside? Well, someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. Till then, baby, are you gonna let them hold you down and make you cry? Don't you know, things can change, things will go your way if you hold on for one more day. If you hold on for one more day. Hold on for one more day. You could sustain, or are you comfortable with the pain? You got no one to blame for your unhappiness. You got yourself into your own mess, or letting your worries pass you by. Baby, don't you think it's worth your time to change your mind? I bet some people know this song. You can sing along to the chorus. Here we go. Well, someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. Till then, baby, are you gonna let them hold you down and make you cry? Don't you know, things can change, things can go your way if you hold on for one more day. If you hold on for one more day. Hold on for one more day. I know there's pain, but you hold on for one more day. Break free from the chains. Let's just go back to the chorus. Here we go. Someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. Say goodbye. Till then, baby, are you gonna let them hold you down and make you cry? Don't you know, things can change. Things will go your way if you hold on for one more day. If you hold on for one more day. Hold on for one more day. Hold on for one more day. One more day. One more day.
Our final reading this morning is Sweet Dreams in America by Sharon Welch. The wellspring of decency is loving this life in which people die. People suffer. There are limits, and we make mistakes. The wellspring, then, of moral action is not utopia. It's not counterfactual vision, not a declaration that the world could be and should be otherwise. Rather, it's a deep affirmation of the joy, richness, and blessing that this world is. The ground of challenging exploitation, injustice, and oppression is not a vision of how the world could be or will be in the future reign of God or after the revolution. The ground of challenging injustice is gratitude, the heartfelt desire to honor the wonder of that which is, to cherish, to celebrate, to delight in the many gifts and joys of life.
All right, I'd like to invite the children forward for one more time for all ages. It's the last one. Thanks for coming up. Raise your hand. It's okay, take your time. There we go. Raise your hand if you've ever seen the Frozen movies. Specifically Frozen 2. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. Well, there's a part in Frozen 2 when Anna thinks she's lost her sister and her best friend Olaf the snowman, who melts and disappears. She is left alone in the dark. How do you think Anna feels in that moment? Yeah. Pretty sad. Yeah. Confused? Uh-huh. Scared? Yeah, these are great answers. I think she's feeling all of those things. And she sings a song that begins with the feeling of hopelessness. But within the song, she figures out how to lift herself up and keep going. Anybody know the name of the song? I bet you do. Oh, I think you had it. You don't have it? Well, I'll tell you, it's called The Next Right Thing. Do you remember that one? Yeah. The song teaches us that even when we might not be feeling so hopeful and we still must keep going, instead of worrying about everything that is to come, let's take just one step in the right direction and our hope can start to come back. So, if you're willing, let's sing that part of the song together. We'll start with a call and response. I'll sing a line and you sing it back, and then we'll put it all together. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. Just do the next right thing. Okay, your turn. Just do the next right thing. Take a step, step again. Take a step, step again. It's all that I can. It's all that I can to do the next right thing. To do the next right thing. Okay, let's put it all together one more time. Just do the next right thing. Take a step, step again. It's all that I can to do the next right thing. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for singing.
How do we hold on to hope and commitments? We allow ourselves to feel the pain for the world, which is tied inextricably to our love for the world. And we do the next right thing. As we close this morning's service, I invite you to turn to your neighbor and tell them, of course your heart breaks over the pain of the world. Please turn to your neighbor. Of course your heart breaks over the pain of the world. It's what a heart is for. It's what a heart is for. We do the next right thing together. Now hold your hand to your heart and tell yourself gently, of course your heart breaks over the pain of the world. It's what a heart is for. We do the next right thing together. Amen.
In our congregational life this week, we have several important invitations. If you are new or newer to the church and have never taken our intro class, we invite you to join Reverend Laura next Sunday, February 25th, from 11:30 to 1:30. There, you will cover an introduction to our faith, as well as answer any questions you may have about this congregation. This class will guide you into how to connect more deeply and know what it means to belong to this dynamic community. Please RSVP by next Thursday if you wish to participate. In case you missed it, our Sunday service nursery care for our youngest friends, infants through age 5, will reopen 2 weeks from now, on Sunday, March 3rd. During services, our new hired child care professional, along with adult congregant volunteers, will create a fun, nurturing play space for babies and toddlers, giving our youngest friends time to enjoy free play, stories, and guided activities. We are so excited about this, and if you love playing and laughing with little ones and would like to volunteer, even just for one day, please reach out to Kimberly, who can help assist you with the Cori-Sori process. Now today, after the service, all are invited to grab a beverage from Social Hour and then join our conversation circle in Community Hall regarding Black Lives Matter banner. Do you have questions, concerns, ideas, conversations you want to have? Come and engage with Reverend Laura and other members of our community. If you're unable to participate in person today, there will be an online option via Zoom this Tuesday, February 20th at 7 p.m. Along this same topic, please save the date for Black Lives Matter, a multi-faith generation gathering of commitment on Saturday, March 9th from 1 to 3. UUCR is hosting this event and working with the Reading Clergy Association and the Office of Equity and Social Justice to plan a multi-faith service of learning and commitment as we expand our vision of equality, justice, and liberation in Reading. This service will be followed by opportunities for fellowship, discussion, and planning further engagement with anti-racism work in Reading. We hope that you will join us. Thank you to our featured musician, Josh Olivia Mason. And our guest pianist, Joe Beninati. Yay! Our worship team and our tech and online team. Thank you to this morning's ushers, Sherry and Bob, and our social hour hosts, Rob and Kitty. Thank you all for being a part of our congregational life. And now please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Joanna Macy says, if the world is to be healed through human efforts, I am convinced it will be by ordinary people. People whose love for this life is even greater than their fear. Of course, your heart breaks over the pain of the world. It's what a heart is for. We are in this together. Go in peace.
Wait.